gonna work on that thing today, try to get some progress done. I would like to do a little bit of an update on what's being done in the garage. We spent the weekend kind of cleaning out both old garage and what I call the old garage is the other garage, and this is the new garage. So we're gonna kind of go over what we did over the weekend, kind of organize some things, and I'm gonna probably flip this camera around and kind of give you a little bit of a look to see what we got, and we'll talk about some additional parts we're putting on the sled and what we've got on the sled, and hopefully we can make some progress today. I need to get the drivers out so I can press the new ones on over the weekend and finally get this thing finished. So we got our squat rack in. We got this from the baseball academy that my son plays for year-round, so we're super excited for this. It's something him and I can work on together. My little girl, she's always pumped to pump some iron. So that's something we can do as a family. Excited for that. Saturday we installed the new skis, and with the new skis I ordered these carbon fiber pieces here. Get nice and close so you can see there's one on each side of each ski, and what those do is they make it so this hole here doesn't get all wobbled out. It just stiffens this up more. Something I read online, and definitely want to preserve my skis as long as I can. I also ordered with the kit the stiffer rubber. Awesome instructions. This was from, as you can see, BWC Power Sports. Shipping was pretty quick, especially coming from Canada. I was actually surprised on that. So today we're gonna get the side panel off. I probably should have held off putting the wrap on, doing the pulling the drivers, but I was super excited to see this wrap on, and it looks good. So that being said, we'll move over to the skid, see what we got going on over here. When I was taking the skid out, I realized that I lost the bolt and some washers for my anti-stab kit. So actually I ordered a new one from Ice Age Performance. It'll be on the way. We're gonna check out the bushings, see how the bushings look. There's not 1,000 miles on this thing yet, so I'm not too concerned about replacing the bushings. I'm also going to replace my slides that only got one ride on them, but the reason why they look like this is because when it got towed back on the trail, there was no snow, and as you can see, it got pretty thin. But that's how it goes. We're going to get the new wheels put on today. I don't think I have to trim this rail back. It looks like it's already pre-cut. I did get, where did they go? Rail tips. So we'll put some rail tips on. They're supposed to accommodate for the anti-stab kit. And then also, now this is for a chaos. I might get some hate for this. So this plate goes on the inside of your tunnel, like so. Something like that. And what you do is you line it up. Maybe I got this wrong. No, that's gotta be it. Like that. So what it does is it'll give you an additional hole to drop your skid down. Now looking at it, this plate on a Chaos is solid. This is just a stiffener plate on the Assault, but I think there's just enough room to make this work. I need to drop the skid down just a little bit. It's going to take a little bit of fitting to make this work, but You know, like I said, it goes on the inside, so this isn't perfect. But as you can see, if you line that hole up there, it's still in the stiffener bracket. So I won't be drilling through this white part. I may have just a sliver of this left, but I do need to get that skid down a hole. Especially after adding the RMK front end. That's kind of what the plan is for tonight. Here by myself, so probably put on some music and get after it. Let's see. There you go. You guys okay? You okay? There we go. Real gangster stuff right there. Also like to add, I've seen some people hating on a post earlier today about these silver exhausts. I like it. I haven't noticed it running like crap or anything like that. The only thing I don't like is this part, but seems fine. Sounds good. So I thought by some miracle I could get that off without taking that off. I was wrong. Big improvement. You can get it off with just kicking it off to the side. I like that. Sweet. Oh, I'm glad I did this. That almost got ugly, kids. 200 miles and that would have fallen right out. So I want to add, make sure you put blue Loctite and you torque that lower bolt on your lower gear in your chain case. I didn't really explain a whole lot because I was a little disappointed in myself. I didn't double check that. That's really important, obviously. That could have been a bad day right there. You know, when I put the sled together, I was in a huge hurry and I was trying to get it done so it was ready for the last ride of last season. And this is an example why you don't get in a hurry, and always double check yourself, because if you don't, it can turn out to be a bad day. And when you and your buddies spend all that time to get ready to go ride, and you're the one that makes a mistake like that, and it kind of ruins everybody's day, it's not worth it. So blue Loctite, right, Gib? And just make sure everything's good before you finish it. Good morning, everyone. It is now the next day. So I turned the camera off. I was on the phone a little bit with my pal Gib and kind of ran into some issues. Do your homework when you order parts. I actually ordered the wrong drivers. The drive shaft came in, I believe, 4 different options, and I ordered it for the wrong one. I didn't have the sled when I ordered them. I should have looked and seen what I had, but I spoke to Avid Products last night before they closed, and they're going to ship out the correct drivers. So I gotta ship out the incorrect ones back, and hopefully I can get the new ones by the weekend. I gotta call them back again this morning and verify. I was gonna go with a 7-tooth driver, but I learned that if I ran with a 7-tooth driver, the track is actually gonna rub on the chain case, and I would have to do some modifying, as in grinding and epoxying the chain case to clear the track from the chain case. So I don't think I really want to do that. I would prefer to just change the gear ratio on the chain case, which I'm going to do. I looked up those parts last night. My chain case now that I have has a 19-tooth top and a 40 bottom. I'm going to keep the 19 tooth on the top, and I'm going to run probably a 44 bottom. And we'll see. I actually have to call Speedworks and find out that if my gearing is going to affect the clutch kit that they set up for me. So kind of waiting on that. That's what happens when you kind of modify these sleds a little bit. So kind of at a standstill on the drivers. I may get the opportunity to work on. I did not work on the skid at all last night. I wanted to get the drivers out and get going on that. As you can see in the video, I shut the camera off and I was on the phone for quite a while. So sorry about that. You didn't get to see the drivers coming out or any of that. So stay tuned and we'll have more of an update in the next video.